Welcome to Couples Academy Live. Today is Q&A. Join us now.
Hey
Welcome,
everybody. Welcome.
It's Friday.
Friday.
Look there.
Oh, right. I gotta look here. It's Friday. Good morning. We hope that you had an amazing week. This is Friday, and we're excited about this particular day because it is the day that you can ask your questions.
Yes.
So good morning, Periscope. Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, Facebook. Good morning, the world. All right, we're gonna jump right in. A lot of questions to hit. Question number 1 from Thelma Brown. What if your spouse is in denial of the hurt and pain he's caused with infidelity? How do you heal past that to stay or leave? I think that's an important question that is legitimate because there's a lot of people who are unfaithful, who don't have a sensitivity to the pain that their spouse is going through. I think there's a lot of contributing factors to that. Number 1, some people don't really own what they've done, so they're in denial. And so they have a tendency of minimizing, downplaying, disregarding their spouse's feelings because it's like, well, I didn't do what you said I did or what you thought I did. That's number 1. Number 2 is, yeah, I did it. I'm sorry. Let's move forward. I think they're not owning the... It's a horrible act. But if you minimize the act like it was no big deal, it was just sex, it was just conversation, it was just social interaction, and you don't understand how horrible within itself the pain associated with an affair is, it's hard for them to have any type of emotional connection to what you're going through.
Yeah. There's something to be said for having contrition. And I think that if we get that kind of embedded in our hearts and minds, we'll shift the way that we think about not only what we do, but how we respond to people when we do things to them. It's not so much about whether I agree, because we could blanket this topic on every situation. I disagree with the fact that you were supposed to clean the kitchen on this day. Any argument, any indifference. When you understand that your spouse is hurt, has been offended by you, if you don't know how to have a contrite heart, if you're not able to express remorse for what you did, that's where the block and disconnect comes in, because now where can you go? You can't move forward. You literally seal and cement your spouse who you hurt into that spot. I always talk about dropping the anchor, and that whenever you are trying to move forward in your relationship, what you want to do is lift the anchor and put the anchor in a new spot, right? Because you want a new marriage. Well, when you have offended your spouse and you have not acknowledged their hurt or their pain, you force that person to be anchored to the hurt and the pain. So nobody wins, right? Yeah. You don't win, your spouse don't win. So literally just looking at yourself, getting introspective and saying, you know what, I'm a human being. Of course I'm going to make mistakes, should allow you to be like, you know what, I messed up. This is how I messed up. Let's work it out.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. A tactical, practical thing that can also help your partner understand the pain associated with the affair in understanding what you're going through is to find other individuals who are in the same situation. Sometimes you could be oblivious to your own situation, or you don't have as much empathy or compassion for your partner because of where you are in your relationship. But sometimes you can see your marriage through someone else's marriage. And so this is why being a part of a community or support group is helpful. So our support group, you're talking about people who have been in pain, and when we're on our Monday night calls in our Moving Forward program, we're able to hear what other people are going through. Yeah. And all of a sudden it's just like, wow, okay, I guess I have done that. I guess I do that. That's going to be helpful for me to understand how to really deal with my spouse.
Awesome. So Heather Jones says, do you have any tips on how to ask a spouse or partner to do one of these intensive sessions?
That's a good question.
I mean, it's a great question. Obviously, if you're asking that question, that means that there's something really intense going on in your relationship. Most of the couples that go through intensives are in serious marital crisis, right? They're at a breaking point. They do not know how to move forward on their own. They know that one-on-one hourly sessions are not going to make it because you have to actually meet week after week, and in between those sessions there's going to be some kind of explosion that you won't be able to handle. So I think it's really about sitting down with your spouse and acknowledge the fact that you want to repair what is broken, and this could be a powerful path. Sitting them in front of the YouTube channel, watch our videos. We have hundreds and hundreds of videos and testimonials from other couples who have gone through the intensives, and they never thought in a million years that they would be able to recover from their hurt. But after watching the videos and getting some encouragement from the testimonials of others, now they're like, you know what, maybe this can work for me because it's worked for so many other people.
Absolutely. Seeding the conversation is an amazing thing to do, as Daniel said, sharing those videos. So get to it. And if there's anything that we can do to assist you in that process, just reach out to us. We're here for you.
So we haven't said hello to anybody. I just want to recognize some folks. Hello, Aseed. How are you? Lenitra Jackson says, good morning. Is it possible to have a healthy and successful marriage when one is married to a narcissist? If so, can they share the same sense of reality of a non-narcissistic person to attain oneness, is what I'm thinking that you're saying. And here's the trick with narcissism. First of all, we use that word like we're using hello. Like everybody is a narcissist in our minds when we're having issues with our spouse. And that's really just not true, right? Many times our spouses are exhibiting narcissistic behaviors, right? Egotistical, self-centered, always trying to have a one-up on you, doing things like that. However, there's only about 1% to 2% of the country or of society that actually goes and gets diagnosed as a narcissist, which is a real mental disorder. There are not too many people out there that say that narcissists can change. There's medication out there to help them assist with symptoms. But for the most part, a true narcissist is, they don't see themselves or see you as apart from them. It's almost like they see you as an extension of them for manipulation, for their own personal gain, to be somebody to step on, to step over. Narcissistic people tend to utilize the people around them that actually love them to empower themselves, to look better themselves, because they don't know how to love, because they don't have their own love. So it's really difficult to say. I would start with actually making sure that you're in relationship with somebody who's a narcissist and not just somebody who's a prick, really, because there's a huge gamut between narcissism or a prick, right, who's doing a lot of jacked up things, and a narcissist, which is a mental diagnosis and somebody that needs medical attention.
That's a great answer. All right, next question. What do you do when your husband does not want to discuss important issues in marriage? That's from Aside Ruth. This is what I would say. Find the source of your partner's motivation. See, people are motivated by different things, and when you can tap into that motivation, you can get them to do what they typically would not want to do or wouldn't feel comfortable doing. Another thing is, I would want to know, what is your partner associating a difficult or challenging conversation with, or issues concerning the marriage? Like, some people feel like it's mental torture to engage in the conversation regarding the marriage, maybe because of how you two interact, how you show up. Maybe it becomes very emotional. It goes from 0 to 100 real quick. Conversations always go left. You wind up in an emotional disaster. Like, what is associated with these conversations that will cause him to resist it? And once you kind of unpack that, and when you're conscious to show up differently, maybe you'll have a different outcome and a different response from your partner.
Hey, Letitia, good morning. Good to see you. Good morning, Torre. Good morning, Sandy. Good to see you as well.
Good morning, everyone.
We got another one. Hello, Couples Academy from South Carolina. Good to see you. The Gonzalez, good morning. God bless you guys. Love you both. Love you back. Good morning, Steve. Good morning, Kathy. There's a lot of good mornings. We want some questions. Let's drop some questions in here. Happy Blessed Friday. Just ordered your book this morning. That's excellent. Keep them coming. Order those books, transformational books. Kathy, good to see you. You must own it. Okay. So that's a comment on what we've already said. All right. Here's a question. Peggy Oliver, good morning. My partner and I have been together for 15 years. We have one child child together. We are not married. We want to take the next step, but need counseling in order to iron out some stuff.
Well, there it is.
There you go.
That's why we're here.
Right.
Couplesacademy.org.
I think it's awesome that you recognize that nobody has to say that you need to get counseling. I can't tell you how many family members we have had to say you need to get counseling, and they don't actually think that they need it. They think that everything is all good. I'll never forget this one guy in our group he was engaged, and he just swore up and down he would never need counseling. We're just perfect. We're meant to be together. Do you know what I'm talking about? Do you know who I'm talking about?
No.
The young man who
yeah.
And he just swore up
Just
and
like-
down like, well, we perfect. And I remember his fiance looking like, we're not perfect. And they never made it. So the point is that what you need to do is get yourself in the hands of some good, godly, strong counseling that's going to help you set a strong foundation for your relationship.
Many people treat counseling like they treat the hospital, right? Like, for instance, I'm only going when I'm sick. I'm only going when something's wrong. And then by that time, you may have waited too long. Things have gone too far. And now you have a bigger issue than what you could have resolved if you really went ahead of time. Likewise, with marital counseling, it's the same thing. Don't wait till you get in a situation. If you're going to be engaged, do pre-engagement counseling. If you're going to be married, do premarital counseling. Have the right foundation before I do, so you don't lead to I won't and I can't and I'm out. Does that make sense? So sign up, call out. We'll be there to help you. All right, next question. What if you? I'm sorry. Can you read that?
Sure. What if you have acknowledged the hurt and pain I have caused, but my spouse does not receive it as such?
Well, yeah, that's a problem.
Okay.
That's a problem. That speaks to a disconnect. And so my question is, how are you acknowledging it? How is she receiving it? Or he, whoever, I don't even know who that question came from. But the reality is, both of you have to show up in a certain way. A part of this whole process is learning how to forgive, learning how to release, learning how to move forward. And some people have a natural predisposition to be able to do that, and other people really remain stuck, and it's hard for them to do that.
That's true. And we also have to just check in, because if I have hurt Hassani, right, and I feel like I have acknowledged everything that I've done, but Hassani is still hurt, it's my role to check in, keep checking in and say, what else can I do? Where have I missed it? What is still unsaid? What is it that you need me to understand so that I could deal with those issues? Sometimes what it is that the hurt partner still is holding resentment that they have not shared with you. You don't know the full picture of it. Maybe they're dealing with their own shame and guilt that they allowed this to happen to them. And so some things they just don't want to speak out and say. So as the offending partner, your role until further notice, which would be when that person says, you're good, you can stop apologizing, it's okay, I'm fine, is to check in, to figure it out, to ask questions, to dive deep.
Yes.
I think too many times the offending partner says, listen, I did everything, here's the list, I've done everything that Couples Academy has said to do, and you're just not happy. Oh well, wrong. No, wrong. Keep trying, keep digging, keep asking questions, and keep doing what you need to do to repair this relationship.
It's about tone. It's about delivery. It's about the energy that comes along with the acknowledgement. To her point, like if you're off-putting with how you're showing up, it's not going to be well received. But let's say you are serious, you are sincere, you're contrite, you're doing all the necessary things, then your spouse has a role to play in really accepting and believing your sincerity and working through his or her personal issues.
And that
because
does
it's
take
a
time.
two-way street.
Absolutely, and that does take time. That acceptance part is huge, because a lot of times the hurt partner they're dealing with their own frustration that I can't believe I allowed this to happen. So you just are stuck in anger, stuck in resentment because you allowed it to happen and you stayed. And that's something for you to work through.
And with that said, you have couples counseling where you work on your issues as a couple, but we always recommend that you do individual counseling as well. Because listen, you have your own stuff to contend with and overcome. And as you heal and become a better version of yourself, you show up in your marriage a whole lot better.
Absolutely. Okay, we got another question here from Wally. Good morning. My girlfriend broke up with me after cheating. We haven't spoken in 2 months. And I've been working on myself and creating good habits. What's the best way to start a conversation with her to get her to talk to me again? I want to earn her trust back and reset our relationship. Wow. Well, you know what? I think I gave this analogy before about when you go into construction, right? Like you think about when you reconstruct your kitchen, you've got the plans for your new kitchen and it's going to look phenomenal. But when the demo comes in and tears up the cabinets, tears down the walls, you don't have no counters, all you see is beams. It looks a hot mess, doesn't it? But you know there's a vision and there's a plan for this beautiful kitchen. Do you invite your guests, your friends in and say, hey, y'all, one day I'm going to have a counter right here. This eighth is dope. Oh, hey, y'all, in a minute, those cabinets are going to be lined up on the wall. And it's going to be great. I can't wait. But in the meantime, can you just put a cup right here on this beam? All right, let's celebrate. No, you wait. You hold off. You might share pictures. I'm in demo. I'm working on this. It's going to be great. I can't wait till June 15th or whatever date, right? So that we can come through and see my complete kitchen. And I think that's important to think about because if you're still in construction with your personality, with all of your idiosyncrasies and your issues, and you bring that person back in and they see even one crack, they're out. Because
that's
all it does,
it
reminds them of who you always were. You ain't changed. You're just like you used to be. And you might be in construction.
Are you listening to this? This is some good stuff.
You might be under construction. You might be in your process to become a better person, but you're just not there yet. So just check that. Like make sure that you're not hasty in trying to call her back in because of your own needs and your own desires, and you're missing this person, but you're just not ready, and you're going to put yourself in a position to cause more damage.
Now, she's talking about rebuilding the construction process, becoming the best you. Unfortunately, a lot of times the people who are unfaithful, they think simply because, listen, I'm not going to do it anymore. They made a promise, they made a declaration, they made a vow. Somehow they've transformed, and they have not.
Right.
And so the reality is it requires work. And to your point, Daniel, when you begin to do the work, sometimes you don't even have to broadcast it. They observe it. They do observe it. They see from a distance, and they're looking for consistency. So when you've proven yourself to be consistent in these spaces, everything begins to change. Listen, you've been listening to the Couples Academy show. We want to share with you a testimonial of a couple who is in the same situation that many of you are in right now, but they reached out for help and everything turned around. Be right back.
My name is Tracy Casey. This is my husband, Cornell Casey. We have been married for coming up on almost a year. We dated for 2 years prior to getting married. As newlyweds, we have started off with the little rocky road, and the rocky road became a very heavy, bumpy, and treacherous road. And we had gone through quite a few different things, and we had kind of gotten to the point to where nothing that we did was working. We tried seeking pastors and going to church, praying and everything, and nothing seemed to be working. That one day I was watching television and there was a gentleman on television, and he was doing therapy. And I can't remember the station, but it was an African American station. And I just researched it, I Googled it, and there he was. It was a signing. He offered to give my husband a call and to speak to him about it after I contacted him first, because that's where we were. We were just not even speaking to one another. He spoke to my husband, and my husband agreed, which I was relieved. And 2 days later, here we are. We're at the Couples Academy, and everything is going great. And now today we are finishing up our third and final day.
I would like to say to anyone, whatever state that you can possibly be in your marriage, if you're newlyweds, seasoned, from my time here at the Couples Academy, I've been able to really hold a mirror up in my face, and Asani helped me to see, my flaws. This program is so intense, and it gets down to the core of everything. But one of the things that I think it really did for me is it helped me to realize the reason why I asked my wife to marry me. It helped me to take a back track and just look at everything, and it gave me that information, this information is just so spiritually touching. It heals you as you go through the process in ways that you didn't realize. I know it did for me. I'm leaving here this evening with a new fight and a revived love for my wife.
All right, we're back. And this just gives you an indication of what is possible for you
Sure.
when you actually do something to restore the marriage.
Absolutely.
Let's jump into the next question.
I think we saw that
Oh,
one.
we said, okay,
Yep,
my bad.
let's go to the next
That's
one.
what happens when you don't have your
Heather
glasses.
Jones, how do you respond to a spouse that says, well, I told you what I did and you just need to move forward. And if you have to work through it, that's your issue. You need to work through it. I'm not responsible for your emotions. He actually feels that he should be rewarded for not cheating since he got married, but he cheated all the way up to the marriage. Wow. Oh, that's just such a deep question. You know, it's like you're literally acknowledging that you've married somebody that does not have any remorse for their actions. It sounds like you have never gone into any counseling to deal with those issues and settle those issues. And so, I mean, to some extent, what he's saying is right. There is some stuff that you both need to deal with, and he needs to be a part of that, because there's no way that you can just get over it and move forward if he's not partnering with you to do so. So it just sounds like to me that he needs to recognize that you both actually need to get into some good counseling, deal with these issues so that you can move on.
Those are the prickish tendencies that you were talking about earlier.
Prickish tendencies.
And that's why he needs to do his own individual work. All right, let's go. We have a lot of questions. Good morning
Yeah.
from Illinois. I know you all are in Georgia. Do you recommend any sex therapists or couple therapists here in the St. Louis area? No, we don't. But if you reach out to us, we can have a conversation, because we do virtual sessions and we know a sex therapist who actually does virtual sessions as well. And that's a good point, because we work with couples all over the world, and oftentimes they cannot find someone in their immediate area. But with the power of technology, you don't have to anymore.
Exactly.
We are right there
People
with you.
know that more now with COVID than ever before.
Ever before.
Everything is virtual.
Ever before. All right. When disagreements and arguments stem from the affair, shouldn't the betrayer show up more humble and not get defensive and aggressive? Ideally, yes. Ideally, yes, because they're the ones that caused the offense. But we will say that communication is a two-way street. And sometimes the hurt spouse feels like he or she has a license to show up however they want. They can be attitudinal, they could be aggressive, they could be demonstrative, they could be on the attack. And guess what? You hurt me, so now I'm going to give you some of this pain that I feel, and it becomes a tit for tat type of thing. And that becomes the new normal. And so that's not healthy as well.
Yeah.
So communication is something that you both need to embrace.
Absolutely.
And that's why we're doing this class tomorrow.
J.D. Pruitt says, how can I be a supportive husband to my wife during a pregnancy while in a separation without it being viewed as trying to make it about fixing our relationship? Wow, I think this is a great example of somebody who could participate in that more than communications training as well, because it's about communication, right? You said you're separated, right? So obviously something happened in a relationship that caused you to separate, and she's pregnant. So you want to show a concern for her as a pregnant woman, as your pregnant woman and your child is in her womb, but she's looking at it as you're trying to fix a relationship. And I think you just need to clarify your intentions. Clarify your intentions and your desire to be there for her during her pregnancy, but we could hold off on the dealing with the relationship if that's even on the table for her.
Agreed. Next question. What is the cost of coming to the Academy and the location? Well, we are here in Atlanta, Georgia. If you simply go to couplesacademy.org, all of the services and the pricing is spelled out right on the website. You can do it virtually. You could do it here in person, and everything's explained. We have a frequently asked questions section on that page as well. So feel free to go there. All right, Kiera. How is progress measured when the question about the affairs are coming at the same rate? They're not in an argumentative way, but still coming. Well, that's a great question. So we talk about how when you're going through full disclosure, there are 3 phases or stages that you go through. Stage number 1 is like the interrogation, and you're pulling information out, and it's just not a healthy conversation. Stage number 2, it's getting better. It's the interview. I still have questions. There's not the same hatred and energy, but I need to know these questions. Stage number 3, empathy. See, we went from interrogation to interview to now empathy. Now we can have a conversation based upon mutual understanding and sensitivity. And it's not about, I need to know this, but it's about getting the healing that we both need. So these are conversations that couples have for a period of time. And sometimes talking it out is getting it out and releasing it so that you can be in a healthier space.
Great.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Where's the next one? Okay, here we go. Charles, do you recommend any therapists here in the St. Louis metro area?
I think you just read
myself, no. I myself, as well as my wife, both need counseling, marriage. Well, I think he asked the same question again.
Oh, okay.
So reach out to us, couplesacademy.org. We're virtual.
I don't think there are many counselors actually meeting face to face right now. I think that everyone's pretty much doing virtual. Even the counselors that I see, we all have counselors now. They're all virtual. So reach out to us because we can serve you. And if we can't serve you, then we definitely have a recommendation of somebody else who also is doing it virtually that can serve you.
And let me just say this. The difference between us and other therapists is that, number one, therapy and counseling is its own discipline, okay? We're coaches. And a lot of times, 95% of the clients who have come from traditional therapy and counseling have felt like they haven't gotten their needs met and they have not been served because there was no there was no information, there was no implementation, no instruction, no how-to, no strategy, no tools. And I think that's the difference with us. Not only are we going to assess what you're going through, but we're going to guide you through a process to get you to a final destination. And I think that's what's unique about us.
Absolutely. Torre says, when you and your spouse are growing differently in the marriage, how do you get back to walking in agreement?
When you are growing different. Yeah, well, see, here's the deal. We all grow and we all take on new likes, new interests, new passions, and that's okay. But there has to be those foundational things that really connect you and bind you two together. So sometimes it's going back to the beginning and saying, what was it in the beginning that drew us together? Have we gotten away from those things? Have we stopped doing activities or embracing things that created the glue that would bind us together? So quality time is one of those things. Praying is one of those things. You know, they say couples who pray together stay together. So where's the spiritual foundation of your relationship at? It's also true that couples who play together stay together. This is where recreational activities and hobbies and date nights come in. But then it's having clear value systems or a relational code of ethics that you both subscribe to that allows you to have that level of oneness that you may have had previously that you currently do not have. So these are the things that I think will be helpful for you to get back on track.
Heather Jones says, are you able to mention your Fortified Women page? Are you able to mention your Fortified Women page? You must come from the Fortified Women show, which is our other show. We're no longer doing that show, but we are here doing this show every day. So make sure you tune in here.
We have one more question before we end. When you forgive with your heart, it shows in your action. When you forgive with your mouth, it shows in your tone, body language, and communication. I held a grudge for years against my husband. That's true. When you forgive and when you've proven yourself to be worthy of forgiveness, it does demonstrate in terms of how you carry yourself. And really, you're talking about communication. And so that's why we're excited about the class that we're offering. So once again, if you have not signed up, it's the More Than Words, the Secret to Breakthrough Communication for Couples. It is tomorrow from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can find the registration link right at the bottom of the video in the description. It is not too late. It's probably one of the best courses and the most important courses that we could have ever taught or will ever teach ever, because as we know, communication is at the crux and the core of a healthy relationship. Listen, guys, next week we're excited. We're starting a new series called Rethinking Divorce. We're excited about that. So make sure you tune in. There's so many people who are waiting to get this information. We want you to share it with those that you know need this help. Love you guys. Have an amazing weekend. See you on Monday.
Can't bring us down. Can't nothing bring us down. Our love is too high. Bring us down. Can't nothing bring us down.